After weeks of stock market uncertainty, the Dow Jones closed in the red Thursday. The drop comes as investors weigh progress in trade negotiations with Japan and navigate general uncertainty over the Trump administration's tariffs plan. Notably, UnitedHealth shares fell more than 22% after the company announced a cut to its annual profit forecast, citing expectations of high medical costs for the rest of the year. CBS News MoneyWatch correspondent Kelly O'Grady is following all of this for us. So, Kelly, what is behind UnitedHealthcare's announcement?
So this was higher medical costs, specifically in their private Medicare plan. And so I actually got on the phone with someone in this space and I said, is this just kind of a UnitedHealth problem, or are we going to see this across the industry? And this person was saying this is likely going to be an industry problem because if you think about it, Medicare, these are more elderly patients, and a lot of people put off procedures and things during COVID, like hip replacements, things that are very expensive. And we're actually seeing a spike in those procedures now, and that's being reflected in these higher costs.
So how is the central bank navigating all the back and forth between President Trump, Fed Chair Jerome Powell? We know that they operate independently for a reason. The Fed is supposed to operate regardless of what politics is happening. But certainly, I mean, they can turn on the TV and also see what's happening.
And they can see what happens in the markets, too.
Yeah.
I would say they're navigating this carefully. You have heard Fed Chair Powell say, look, nothing's going to impact the Federal Bank, or Federal Reserve, rather. I'm not stepping down. I think what's tough here is there's a lot of noise happening. And what the Federal Reserve is focusing on is the impact of these tariffs and whether they're going to keep interest rates steady, raise them, or lower them, depending on how this impacts prices as well as economic growth. And so this back and forth is sort of drawing focus from what their real job is. I don't think you're going to hear anything different from Fed Chair Powell at the next meeting. I think you're going to continue to hear him say, hey, we're independent.
Let's talk weekly jobless claims. They fell to a 2-month low last week. What does that tell you?
Good news. It means that employers are not doing mass layoffs. And of course, that is one of the concerns as we see tariffs take effect and potential slowing economic growth, that employers would decide to lay off people to make up for some of those costs. The thing that did stick out to me, though, is continuing claims. So that's when someone is on unemployment and they continue to be unemployment.
Haven't found a job yet.
Exactly. That actually spiked by 41,000. So what that tells me is people who have been laid off are struggling to find a job.
It's taking longer for them to get back into the workforce. Finally, a federal judge ruled Google holds an illegal monopoly on online ad technology. What does this mean?
Okay, super complicated, but basically all you need to know, online ads, right? It's the video that pops up, the banner. Google has tools that help the seller, the buyer of those ads, and facilitate that whole process. The DOJ was arguing that they have used anti-competitive practices to keep other tools out of the market. The judge ruled against Google, and what this could mean when they figure out the remedy is that they might have to actually break up their respective ad products, sell them off. And this follows a similar ruling when it comes to the online ad space previously.
Okay. Kelly O'Grady, thank you.